Hey guys, this is Dinosaur Drawer, and this is part 2 on how to draw the yutyrannus. So yeah, I actually really noticed the difference between better drawing paper and bad drawing paper. I mean in quality wise, because better quality paper can hold a lot more, for example the tone. This tone is really dark, but you can still see the details, and this tone is a lot lighter, but it's kind of hard to see all the tiny details. So that's really one thing that I should pay a little bit more attention to next time. So I'm definitely not going to do the same thing again by using the wrong drawing paper, because the quality of the video is going to be a little bit less quality. Alright, so let's actually get the right tone into this. Alright, that should be fine for now. And make this a little bit darker as well, so you can clearly see where his jaw starts. Still gonna try to add the detail, but it's gonna be a little bit harder to do so this way. Right, so now I'm gonna start with making those feathers kind of extend for a little bit farther than his shape. Yeah, it's really hard to get that feather detail in there. Alright, so now we want to darken the spots that need a little bit more shadow in advance. For example, the belly part right here, this part over here, and this should be a little bit more muscular, in my opinion, I believe. I'm not sure if it's really focusing too well. I mean, it should, but sometimes it gets really strange. So yeah, normally we would do this with scales and lines. With scales and wrinkles. But now we're gonna do the same thing using little hairs, because that's what it would have looked like. It just looks like little hairs, and I'm gonna add a little bit of detail right here. So what I'm gonna do now is make some spots a little darker. Not everywhere, but just some dark lines everywhere. So that's gonna add for the detail. Yeah, really try and get those really dark kind of areas in there. It's gonna look quite nice. Also add a little bit more shadow over here. Make his nose a little bit darker. And maybe a little bit more detail over here as well. Yeah, the quality of the paper is really it makes it really hard, some spots, some areas, to get the detail in. At this point the hairs just kind of start pointing down, and of course you do have those huge muscles that you don't really necessarily see too good. Also his knee won't be visible either, but this does need to be very dark. And then it gets lighter and lighter. We could make a couple of little hairs actually sticking out everywhere. Maybe a couple over here as well. To make it really blend a little. Alright, and it's starting to get a little bit lighter up here. And you can see that his head and neck looks a lot bigger now, a lot more intimidating. Just by adding those details. And this is a hard part, to actually make those lines go the right way. Those feathers and stuff. And maybe the feathers over here might get a little darker. Something like that. So yeah, you should just really just cover the whole thing in those hairs. And then later you can add more detail. more shadow and stuff. For example, I could make a muscle over here just by putting down a little bit smaller hairs in a kind of a different direction. Kind of gets a little bit of shadow, and the muscles look a little bit more realistic that way. And also over here I want his hip to actually be a bit more visible. Maybe a muscle over here. Alright. And then over here the feathers kind of stop slowly. And then you get back to the kind of scales. So over here you could already put down those dark scales. Yeah, again, it's really hard to get that the right tone into your drawing, because well, into my drawing at least, because the paper is, I can't get the really dark tones and stuff that I need for this video for you guys to actually be able to see everything. So I'm gonna make this nail very dark. This one as well. And then we're gonna put those kind of Jurassic Park style scales on them, otherwise known as the chicken feet. Alright, I just had to get a new piece of graphite into my pencil. Alright, do the same thing over here, make them kind of connect. And then just put a couple of dark spots everywhere, and maybe a couple of lines which will create a little bit of shadow between those toes. And of course it's too dark. Alright, but we will leave it as it is. Maybe just do something like this about it. And now it's supposed to be a lot lighter. Alright, we can do the same thing over here. You could try and get a couple of ribs going on here, but it's risky. Alright, let's just move on to the rest of his tail actually. Try and get the pattern back to normal over here again. Just use a lot of curved lines actually, that's a lot better to get that feather effect. A little shadow over there. Yeah, and again, I'm really sorry for the background noises that my dog is making at the moment. Alright, now put some feathers in here. And smaller areas, you will have to use smaller lines, shorter lines and stuff. So over here we're just gonna kind of leave this a little bit like this, so that we can actually get some detail into his hands. The Jurassic Park style little hands. Also over here put a few of those in. Alright, and then just put those feathers in here as well. And it will kind of stop there. And then you can try and get a little detail in there. Just some tiny bits. And of course a little bit of detail in the rest of his leg over here. And actually it looks dark over here, but it really isn't. It's just the reflection of the light of my lamp right on his head, which makes everything else seem a lot darker. So that's actually kind of a shame. Alright, so now this leg, let's get this leg all feathered up. And over here we have this claw. Should not forget about that one. I might have made it a little bit too large, but I guess this is okay. And again it kind of stops over there, the feather pattern. It really looks kind of messy right now, but it will work out eventually. Oh, we forgot to put in the little claw there. Alright, and now put in the scales. And of course a little bit of scales everywhere. And then a little bit of shadow. Alright, so now it is time to really get into the kind of detail. And with detail I just mean like a lot more shadow certain places, like for example over here. There could be a lot more shadow there. And also over here. Over here as well. This is part of his leg. So you can still kind of see the muscles beneath it, but it's a little harder this way with a feathered design. And it's starting to look quite nice. So now I'm just gonna create all those dark areas everywhere. So I'm gonna turn my page a little bit so now and then. And put those kind of dark areas in. So this will actually make it look a lot bigger and a lot more intimidating. Alright, so at some spots you need to do it a little bit darker than normal. And over here we could make a lot bigger areas like this. So for example, if he's in a fight, he would be able to stand all those feathers right up, and yeah, it will make him look more scary. Maybe the other dinosaur is gonna think twice before he attacks. So at this area you won't be able to see the ribs, so I'm just going to make it a little bit nicer, make it look a little bit nicer, otherwise it will just look kind of stupid. So also try to change the direction of those feathers as well, because at some places the feathers change direction, so you need to kind of go with the flow a little bit. And I'm gonna put a couple of dark ones on his leg. Just a couple of them. Maybe let it extend for a little bit further. And let's make the feathers a little bit more pronounced over here. And also over here. So maybe we could even do a couple of these kind of Indominus Rex feathers kind of thing. And a couple over there as well. Just not too many, just a couple of them. Alright, and keep doing this until you actually put it everywhere on the dinosaur. And so again, some places you have to change the direction from where these kind of feathers are going. Alright, and as you are approaching the end of his tail, the feathers are going to be shorter and thinner. Maybe a little bit longer at the end. So I really found it to be quite a challenge to actually put feathers into my drawing and still make it look kind of good. I mean, it doesn't look as good as my more recent drawings, but it still does look quite nice. That's at least in my opinion. Alright, and let's put a little bit more shadow at some parts. You could have a couple dark ones going down here. And of course we want to continue on those dark scales on his legs. But don't put too many of them on his legs. Just a couple of them. Make them a lot smaller when you're approaching his foot. And do the same thing over here. Alright, and yeah, let's make this a little darker. Maybe a little bit of saliva going down from his teeth. And yeah, we could just keep on going and try and make it look as natural as possible. Maybe a little bit of shadow over here. And a little bit over here. And this way we could even make a little bit of a skin pattern if you wanted. And yeah, again, if I had better quality paper right now, I think the drawing in general would have looked a lot cleaner than what it looks right now. But I guess it doesn't look bad at all, in my opinion. So I guess we're done, and the only thing we need is my autograph and the name of the dinosaur. Alright, so that makes us about done. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you actually learned something new. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment below what you think about the drawing and the video, and don't forget to subscribe. So this was Dinosaur Drawer, and goodbye.